Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Industrial Leaders Face Operational Challenges. My name is Roger Tyrell. I work for PDS Vision here in Sweden, and I am a customer success manager, which means I work at customer sites, helping customers choosing the right ways and adapting best practices. My fellow colleague, Pontus, is going to give the webinar today, and he is a recognized AR expert.
Yes, my name is Pontus Blomberg. I'm based out of Finland and I work for PDS Vision Group, heading up the Vuforia business. In short.
Good. And looking at the agenda for today, we're going to look at a little bit about PDS Vision and a little bit about PTC as well. We're going to look upon the global augmented reality drivers and challenges that we see today and some commonly seen high-value use cases. And there is a road to success, and how can we traverse on that one? In the end of the webinar, there will be a Q&A where we will answer the questions that might arise during the webinar. And short about PDS Vision, we'd like to think of us as your business partner. And through recent acquisitions, we have actually become the largest European reseller of PTC software. And why industries do business with us, and looking at it from an augmented reality perspective, we have seen that customers often look to increase safety and efficiency of the workforce. And there are some issues that we have encountered recently that Pontus will talk about amongst others. And one of the challenges with that is to protect and scale the knowledge of the top employees that you have within the companies today. How can they share information, and how can they be the source of information driving your business on? And whenever you have employees, you will always have challenges on how to train employees and how to get employees productive. And there are some solutions for that we will also look closer to, and also see values that other customers have seen during their implementation of our solutions. And existing data, we always have existing data. The new way of digitalizing and getting the most out of existing data is a true source for how we can develop our business. If you look at some key facts that we are quite proud of, we have now more than 2,500 active customers, and that is actually a little bit on the low side, since we are now, as I mentioned, the largest European reseller of PTC software. We have a global presence, which means in short that we are all around the globe, but we are heavily concentrated around the Nordic countries, which means that we are close to where we would like to be, where our customers are. So looking at the benefits of having a large software vendor, when you pick your vendor, you have to be thorough. It's like if you look at it from your perspective, you also have to be thorough when you select your partner that will help you with best practices and driving the business further. And sometimes you might also want to look at some independent firms, what they say about the industry trends, what they say about the software that the vendor we have chosen, PTC, has. And I'm proud to say that we see very good results in the digital thread of going from CAD, where you draw your information, PLM, where you handle your information in life cycles, the industrial IoT, the Internet of Things, and augmented reality. We score through PDS very highly on all these areas, and all these connected are the digital thread that we are working with and against. So looking at the perspective of our customers have a wide range of products that they market and sell, but what they all have in common is that they have a product development that we are partnering with our customers with to get the best out of it. So in short, when you think product development, think PDS vision. What we have created also together with our customers are customer success stories. So for example, Väderstad in the middle here, which are global leading manufacturer of seed equipment. We have recently published a customer success story, which I will show you in the end of the webinar, where you can find. So don't always take our word for how to do something. Listen to our customers as well. And by that, Pontus, I will hand over a little bit to you.
Thank you. Yes, so these three challenges, they are very real in the industrial space today. Every single company that we have been talking to lately, they agree to these challenges. And it's the aging workforce where we see a majority of the workers being liable to retire within the next few years. So how do you capture that knowledge that will disappear after a few years? How do you capture that knowledge that they have learned over their entire work life? And we also see inefficient training methods where people are traveling and they are sitting in classes and they are learning, and then they will forget what they learn. It's a very complex work, and if you are not consistently repeating this information, you will forget what you learn. And that's where these solutions come in place. And then we also see a negative perception of industrial work where school children see the industrial work as dangerous, and they would not really like to choose industrial work in front of a office work, for example. So how do you capture the knowledge, and how do you start to train your employees more efficiently, and how do you attract new employees with new technology? Those are real challenges that we see today. We can go to the next slide, please. And even though we see these challenges, the business owners, they put the same pressure on the employees to increase revenue, perform it in less time, reduce the cost, and improve the quality. So what are the solutions that we can take into use to still perform better and better while we see those challenges with retiring workforce, inefficient training methods, and negative perceptions from youngsters? This is also something that is really concrete. And if we move to the next slide, we also see that 75% of the workers, they work at the front line, on the shop floor, out in the field. And what kind of solutions can we use to deliver information and also gather information about the work being performed? How can we execute this work more efficiently, and how can we analyze the work that has been carried out in order to do improvements in the processes? So these are real challenges that we see locally, we see them nationally, but we also see them globally. And it's a trend that has been going on for a few years here now.
So when we look upon this, that we slightly touched upon the challenge that we have, one of the major things that I see at customer sites is that we have a difficulty of keeping up-to-date information. You are generally quite good as a company, speaking for ourselves as well, we are quite good at gathering information, but that information is almost outdated instantly as we gather it. And whenever you gather and sort of try to capture information, there's always a high risk of human error. There is never as good information as the one that is correct. So how do you assure that the information is correct? And if we have long storage times, we have a lot of information, there is always a risk of that the data might get lost during the process. And if you look at the methods of traditional training, I looked upon one of the researchers that showed that it can actually be as bad as after 1 hour of traditional training, you will lose and forget approximately about 50% of the knowledge you gained. After after 24 hours, you lose approximately 70%, and it can be as bad as losing 90% of the knowledge you acquired after a week. And this is if you don't repeat the information, you don't do the tasks to make sure that they stick. So just sitting and absorbing traditional training, there are better ways available today on the market. And if we look at what we mean by walking away from traditional methods, it's not really a walking away, it's a way of supporting the traditional methods. It's not that we are claiming that there will be a brand new process. It's always based upon the skills and the knowledge that you have acquired during the years, because that is quite common amongst our customers, that you are extremely good at what you do and you've been doing that for a very long time. But we are going to take that approach now and put the digitalization onto it. So we are going, in this case, when we look at it from an augmented reality perspective, we're going to make sure that the information is more accessible, more usable. And by being more usable, then I would like again to phrase that partnering up with a large software vendor, which in its turn has its partnership. So we have an extended partnership. So we have partnerships with ANSYS for simulation on the CAD segment, for example, through PTC. We have Microsoft partnerships on storage through PTC. So having the digital thread, as we looked upon through the analysis firms, where you looked upon CAD, PLM, industrial IoT, augmented reality, aftermarket sales, all that needs to be connected is connected through that digital thread, and it's being realized through tools and solutions for people even in the front line. So what does this look at customer sites then, Pontus?
Yeah, so when you choose the correct technology partner and vendor, you get technologies that work seamlessly together, forming a complete solution. And Hapag Ulma is one example. It's not a big customer or a big company. They produce integrated packaging equipment systems and fully lifecycle management services for food, medical, and industrial products. And they saw big challenges with the preventive maintenance inspections. These were highly complex processes involving 400 to 500 unique steps in each inspection. And there was a big danger of human error, and human error may cause a complete process shutdown, causing unscheduled downtime for the whole production line. That is a very bad thing. So they took Vuforia into use, and both their own technicians and their customers use it, creating 3D guided step-by-step instructions so that the workers can perform the work correctly. They know where to perform it, when to perform it, and how to perform it. And as said, it's more of a learning as you do, as long as you have the base knowledge, how to work the tools and how to move around in the facilities. Vuforia will guide you to do the exact correct things in the correct moment. So they have actually achieved quite significant improvements both at their customer, but also at their own technicians. And they onboard technicians faster, and they drive continuous process improvement by gathering the data when the users use the system. They gather step-by-step data so they can analyze afterwards what went wrong, if something went wrong, where can we improve? Is it the instruction that needs improvement, or is it the equipment that needs improvement, or is it the person doing it that needs improvement? This can all be analyzed and improved afterwards through Euphoria.
And I like that perspective, Pontus, where they claim that it's useful for their customers when they interact, but they also use it internally. I'm quite fond of that.
That's what we see, that you can achieve new types of businesses using these types of tools. You can invent new ways of invoicing your customers, for example, by owning the content, owning how to do things. Okay. Another user of Euphoria is Bretting Manufacturing, and it's a total solution supplier of paper converting equipment. They have around 400 employees and have been around for 125 years. They also saw challenges with inefficient training methods and documentation, and it takes years for new hires to become productive. So by utilizing Euphoria Expert Capture, Bretting started immediately to create step-by-step operation and service instructions and standard operating procedures. And with this, they reduced the number of service visits, and they lowered documentation time significantly, and they improved employee and customer satisfaction, creating a better place to work.
And being in the pandemic situation as we are, a 25% reduced number of service visits could actually mean a lot of time being spent on other things.
Exactly. You don't have to have a knowledgeable worker shadowing you while you learn. So this expert can perform other valuable tasks while the system is teaching the workers to do things correctly.
And that also responds well to the fact that the workforce is getting older and older, and we need to transfer the knowledge.
Yes, that's what's called capturing the tacit knowledge of the workers, and also capturing the best practices, and that's normally what's hard or close to impossible to document is the best practices, and that's really easy with Euphoria.
And one thing I liked about the Euphoria is that it's interactive. It's not like you shouldn't confuse it by it's just someone showing you a movie or something like that.
No, it's really intuitive, and it's really simple to use, and we have seen companies getting started within one day. So immediately when you have your first instruction captured and published, you start getting value from the system. Yes, so the value that our customers would see here, that's individual based on the key strategic initiatives that you have put on your business. And this is discussions that we would have closely together with you, analyzing these, and these would be the drivers for the use cases. So these three here are just three examples of strategic key initiatives. So this could be something else specifically for you. And if we go to the next slide, and we can see some examples of key high-value use cases. And when we discuss with our customers the strategic initiatives, they are the base, the foundation to actually find out what are the use cases and also prioritize what are the most valuable use cases, both in time and money? When can we start getting our investment back? And what would be the roadmap to scaling the use years ahead? So these would be the outcome from analyzing your business and prioritizing your use cases, finding a roadmap to actually win and be successful with Euphoria and augmented reality. And it's actually quite simple. Augmented reality, as said, it works together with other technologies, and it's a matter of what do you do, how do you do it, and where do you do it. So what do you do is the visual guidance. How you do it is the visual instruction. It could be a video, it could be a picture, it could be a few words, it could be sound that guides you to do the correct thing. And then you have the augmented reality technology guiding you to do it exactly in the right place. So step by step, the solution guides you to perform correctly as the most skilled worker, because the content has been documented according to best practices, so you as the worker could be as efficient and as good as the best workers out there.
So that brings us into the Q&A section, and we have received a couple of questions, and while I prepare to read them out, you can take the possibility to add us to LinkedIn if you find that useful, because that's much easier to contact us through that channel. We have realized that. So, Pontus, the first question, what is the best way to try this?
Yeah, so as said, it's the strategic initiatives that you have put on your business that would drive the use cases. So that would be a discussion that we would have, and we call it a value and technical evaluation. So first we would have this value discussion, find out the use cases and prioritize the use cases, and then we would choose which ones to evaluate. So in that sense, it's a, how would you say, foolproof road to success, because we would understand your business and you would be able to test out the technology and verify it within those use cases.
And that actually brings up another question that came in on how long an implementation takes.
Well, if you understand the business side of it and you have verified the compliance of the technology, then it's not really, doesn't take any time, because the solution is so simple to use and it's out of the box and it's complete SaaS solution. So you would just start using it, and as said, as soon as you have your first instruction created, you can start benefiting from using it. So the more instructions you create and the more use cases you come up with, the more value you will get out of it. I've seen companies get things started within one day.
And one of the questions is also, do you have a real use case example? And I think that's a question that will be easier to take offline, I guess, with that person or anyone else who's interested to get into how to use the tool in a real use case example.
Yeah, and the two cases that we presented, they are real. It depends on what this person is actually meaning with the real use case. Yeah, we can have that discussion.
Yeah, we'll get back to that later on. So that's actually the last question that we have in here. And going further, we would just like to mention that we have a channel on YouTube where we go in and show real use case examples in our environment at home, anything from Pontus' garage to out on his front porch. So the handyman and the gentleman, you can find that information there. Our website, pdsvision.com, we have a special section for augmented reality. And when we speak about the website, we can also push for the fact that we talked about the customer stories in the beginning of the webinar. They will be available on the customer stories section, where you can download and look upon other companies' way to success. And for the webinar that we had today, you probably would have found it through our newsletter, or if you went to the website and looked at events. But you can also go to on-demand webinars and finding other webinars that we have held previously. So you can find anything from Creo, CAD, PLM, to aftermarket, to picture rendering. So there will be a lot of information for you to look through during the Christmas season. Because that's actually what we have left for today, to wish you a very, very good Christmas and a happy new year.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you all, and thanks for attending, and be safe.